Hey everybody, this is Tao at the Forge, and it's super late where I'm at, but I do want to make a video for this week. And one of the videos I've been wanting to make is a video talking about Owling Mine versus 8-Rack and Mill and other decks like that. Now, as you guys may know, the people who have been subscribing to my channel for a while will know that I've been playing Owling Mine for a little while, and I've gotten a lot of hate, like just a ton of hate from playing Owling Mine, and I really don't know why. It's kind of weird because there's a lot of other decks that are super oppressive, right? Like I've played Lantern Control, Mill, 8-Rack, and stuff like that, and none of those decks, none of them receive the kind of hate that you get when you play Owling Mine. Like, people just really, really hate that deck. And like seriously, it's like 30 or 40% of the people that you play just tell you to screw off, or just drop the game, or just walk away or whatever. It's kind of weird. So I was wondering why. Like, why do you think that is? It's kind of a strange thing, but I do have a theory, right? So my theory comes down to card advantage, right? So what a card advantage is just the ability to get more cards than your opponent. And if you can get more cards, then you have card advantage, which means that you can play. You can play more, I guess. When you have like a game like 8-Rack, which is kind of weird because 8-Rack is also playing a card advantage game by denying you cards. So for those of you guys that don't know, 8-Rack plays an artifact and an enchantment, basically similar things. One is called the Rack, and it says that if you have less than 3 cards in your hand, you take damage. Shrieking Affliction says that if you have 1 card or less, you take damage. And basically what it does is it just plays all the rest of his cards are just discard and removal, right? And that way it's constantly forcing you to discard cards or forcing your opponent to discard cards so that they can get punished by the Rack and Shrieking Affliction. And in the meantime, even when they counter your spells, they're still getting rid of cards in their hand, so they're still approaching those thresholds where they can start taking damage. And that's how 8-Rack tries to win. Owling Mine, on the other hand, tries to get more card advantage by basically giving each player, like your opponent included, extra draws, and then just preventing your opponent from playing with those cards. So they're kind of the same type of deck, just one going by shrinking your opponent's hand, one going by growing and controlling your opponent's hand. I think though the problem with Howling Mine or Owling Mine is that with Owling Mine, people see the cards actually in their hand. Like with decks like Mill, when a card is just milled into the graveyard, well, you never had that card in the first place, and so you could never have played it, and it's not really that bad. So like I could actually, like, your winning card could be the 11th card down. Your opponent casts Glimpse the Unthinkable, and then just mills you down 10, and you got your winning card. So that's why against Mill, it's not nearly as oppressive as it is against 8-Rack. But still, I've never seen like anybody really just like tell me to screw off or scoop, or like just berate me for playing Owling Mine or for playing 8-Rack. And I played a lot of 8-Rack matches. So I'm wondering, why is that? And like I said, I do have the theory. The theory it comes down to card advantage. So the thing with 8-Rack is that, yeah, they had the cards, but they still have a chance to play cards, right? So you get a card in your hand, like you draw your card, and your opponent, like, I can't make you discard the card immediately, so you still have a chance to play it, and then I just have to deal with whatever you choose to play. And you have to decide if you're going to get the punishment for not having the cards in your hand. Owling Mine, on the other hand, really makes it hard for you to play, right? And it's kind of weird because it's giving you so many cards, so you think you could play all the time. But there are some key cards in Owling Mine that I think people really, really hate. The first one is Boomerang, right? Boomerang, being able to put a card back into your opponent's hand, including their land, is really, really bad, right? And they just really hate that. Like, opponents just really, really hate that a lot. Same thing with Eye to Nowhere or Eye of Nowhere. It's the same as Boomerang essentially. People really don't like to get their lands bounced back to their hands, and it just sets them back and slows them down. Like kind of like Thalia does, right? Like Thalia makes every like a non-creature spells cost like one or one more. That's kind of what Boomerang does. It just sets you back a turn, which makes things really bad. And especially if I can get a Howling Mine on turn one by exiling a Simian Spirit Guide, then I'm more likely to draw into more Boomerang effects, and then basically just keep Boomerang your one land back to your hand before you can do anything. I can see why people would hate that. But even in the games, when opponents get to play a lot of their lands, like yeah, you might boomerang them once, and then you got to start like going into your protection. People really, really hate that deck. Like they just really despise it a lot. Um, the other card that I find that people really hate a lot is Hibernation, right? So, or not Hibernation. Oh, I can't believe I'm forgetting the card. It's the one Exhaustion, the one that makes it so every your lands and creatures don't untap that turn. Because again, you're getting cards in your hand, so you got all these cards. And you're like, oh, I wish I could play, and my combo might even be here, but Owling Mine just prevents you from even playing that at all. So I can see why people would not like that. But there's other decks that do that, like Lantern Control does that. Just straight up blue white control does that. Um, 8-rack essentially does that, and people don't freak out about it. I don't know why. So this is my question to you: do you know why people hate Owling Mine? Like, why do they hate that deck so much? And it's not even super competitive. Like, I mean, it's competitive, but you're not probably not even going to win FNM with it. Like, every time I played like a red deck wins or a burn deck or even mill deck, I just get crushed, right? Like, anything with fast aggro, like a mono green stompy, stuff like that, like you just kind of get wrecked. So it's not like that deck is super oppressive and unbeatable or something like that. I it's just for some reason people just hate that deck. So let me know your ideas, thoughts, and comments in the comment section below. I'd like to hear about it. I'm not going to change the deck. I'm probably I'm not. I haven't been playing it for a while, but I've been playing more Relentless Rats and other just janky builds like that. But let me know. I'd like to hear what you have to say about it. Anyways, that's it for now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.